What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, live with your NFL Week 8 review, reaction, and recap to this week's NFL action, this week's NFL games. I am here on the bottom line to rant and rave about Week 8. Here we go. Week 8 time. Of course, we're going to react to Monday Night Football, Giants and Chiefs, the takeaways for that, as well as the rest of the takeaways, the Ultra 10, which you can always find on Instagram every single Tuesday. Before I get started, make sure that you do Gronk, Spike, that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Also, Gronk, Spike, that notification bell for more. And guys, don't get at me here. Don't get me started, all right? Don't get me riled up. Chris, Chars, however you say your name, Lena, don't get me riled up. Don't get me going. You're saying, oh, I've been waiting for 15 minutes. Oh, why don't you wait for 50 minutes? How about that? Okay? The game went a little bit late. I had to sort through some stuff. Ultra was sending me the Ultra 10. I got to make the graphic. Okay, this isn't easy stuff here. I got to get it going. All right, so give me some time. This perfection takes a little bit of time. It's not going to just happen overnight. So here we are for the weekly review show. And let's get started with a shout out to the BLV GOATs, as we do every week. The BLV GOATs! These are the guys that support me on Patreon every single week. These are the guys that support me every single month. These are the guys that are the top dogs around the Bottom Line View community. Okay? And shout out to all you guys. Katana, Connor, you know who you are. I give you a shout out every week, but I appreciate everybody that is supporting me on Patreon. Not just the GOATs. They always get their shout outs, and I support, and I love them the most, let's be honest. But everybody that supports me on Patreon, whether you're at the bottom tier or the top tier, I thank you all for supporting me and supporting what I do here on YouTube and my content creating journey. So if you guys do want to support me, head over to Patreon, check it out. We got exclusive content. We will actually get a little bit of a splice, I guess I can call it, a little bit of a slice from that BLV versus Consensus NFL weekly preview from last week. And you guys can check that out. I'm going to give you a little bit of that. Okay, later on in the show, because Derrick said something absolutely outlandish, so I've got to shut him down and put him in his place, all right? So shout out to the GOATs. Appreciate you guys. Let's get to the Monday Night Football reaction, and then we'll get to the Ultra 10. So Monday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs, the New York Giants. I thought this was a pretty good game. But not really in terms of quality football. It was more like kind of sloppy football that turned into a competitive all-around game. We had the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes trying to throw as many interceptions as he possibly could in this game. We had absolutely dreadful red zone execution from both sides. We had Jason Garrett running the ball on first down. We had Jason Garrett and his offense constantly being disjointed, discombobulated, disorganized, whatever word you want to put out there. But the Giants' offense looked completely lost for a majority of the game. And somehow they were competitive in this game. What I took away from this game is just how down bad the Kansas City Chiefs are. Just how rattled and in their own heads the Kansas City Chiefs are, and how I am completely done with the Kansas City Chiefs. I came on here last week. Can the Chiefs be fixed? Bro, the Chiefs won this game, and I am less confident moving forward. I couldn't imagine a worse performance from a team that won than what I saw today from the Kansas City Chiefs. The Giants were awful in this game, specifically offensively. Their defense played well. Leonard Williams is an absolute animal. He's pretty good at football. James Bradbury's pretty good at football. They can cover. Logan Ryan, these guys in the secondary, they can cover. They can do their thing. I thought, really, their plan defensively, the Giants, was basically the same plan every other defense has had. Same plan. No difference. I didn't see a single difference. But it still worked. The Chiefs, they came out, they were screen diddly. Screen left, screen right, throw out of the backfield, extension of the running game, right? Extension of the running game. Because what has everybody been criticizing them for, especially myself? The Chiefs have no rushing attack. The Chiefs aren't balanced. The Chiefs can't throw the ball short. So Andy Reid comes out with a script, and he goes basically 3 short passes almost behind the line of scrimmage / screen plays in a row. Get Tyreek Hill involved, get Travis Kelce involved, get the backs involved, and that was the whole game. The whole offense for the Chiefs tonight was the running backs catching the ball, running the ball, Mahomes checking the ball down, or Tyreek Hill on a crosser. That was the whole game. The Giants did a very good job. They were very smart. They were very disciplined defensively. They let nothing over top. They let nothing over their heads. They made everything underneath, and they forced the Chiefs to travel all the way down the field. And the Chiefs just have not been able to execute consistently this season in third down situations and on red zone situations. And that showed once again here. Kelce looks, guys, Kelce, there are moments where he still shows flashes of being that excellent tight end, but in other moments, the guy looks like he's done. Like, Kelce looks toasted, fried. Like, he doesn't look like the same player. There was a moment there at the end, he beats double coverage, Peyton Manning was hyping it up. I'm not buying it. This guy's dropping the ball. You're telling me Kelce wasn't getting double teamed the last 3-4 consecutive years in a row? And now all of a sudden he's not, he's different. He's just this different player. He's not relevant. Tyreek Hill's this whole offense right now, and he hasn't been playing that well in recent weeks. He's been dropping the ball, all this stuff. So screen diddly. We got Frank Gore out there. Yes, Frank Gore. I think it was his son, maybe his grandson. Frank Gore's pretty old, so it could have been his son out there playing. He looked pretty good. Derrick Gore running the rock, showing some physicality. Looking pretty good. The red zone interception, the reason the Mahomes red zone interception happened is because the Chiefs can't run the ball. The Chiefs can't run the ball in. Last week, you guys listened to the Manning cast, right? I always say listen to the Manning cast because they're obviously, Peyton Manning's pretty smart, but they also had Tom Brady on there last week. So they had Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Eli Manning talking about the red zone and how hard it is to throw the ball into the end zone for a touchdown. Except when you watch the Bucs, that's all they do. But it's easy if in the red zone if you can run the ball. The Chiefs can't run the ball. You guys notice how when the Chiefs run the ball, it's always sideways? It's always east and west because they can't get any push up the field. They can't get any push up the field. So that's why that red zone interception happens, because you're trying to throw that ball in such a tight window, and then crap's going to happen. The ball's going to get tipped up in the air. Somebody's going to catch it. It might be your team. It might not be the other team. By the way, shout out to all these John Ross haters. I said John Ross. Everybody made fun of me. Ultra made fun of me. Durkant made fun of me. They all made fun. Probably Thomas made fun of me. He's sitting there. He's commenting, "What's up, Thomas of Catch the Blitz? What's going on, brother?" John Ross. They said John Ross is a bad depth piece. He's never going to come in handy. He's never going to do nothing. This guy just mossed the dude on Monday Night Football. So give me my credit for being the best 5th receiver in the league. Come on, bro. John Ross runs a 4.2, is always hurt, but can be helpful. What else I got in my notes? Have the Chiefs ever ran a trick play that has worked? On the first drive of the game, the Chiefs drive the length of the field. On first down in the red zone, they run a trick play where Mahomes tosses it to Kelsey and Kelsey throws the ball. How many times have we seen a Chiefs red zone trick play? Have they ever worked? Ever? Like maybe 3-4 years ago. I don't know. Jason Garrett, what a disaster. This guy is awful, okay? The offensive line is horrendous, but the run game got it going. They were fortunate the run game eventually got it going, because how were the Giants coming into this game? The Giants came into this game, they were running the ball on first down, getting stuffed. First series, they go 3-and-out. Imagine if the Chiefs just go up 14-0 in this game. The game's over. Game's over. Game is over. How do you not get Kadarius Toney involved? This guy's a stud. Get him involved. You hate to see Sterling Shepard go down. That was a crappy injury, man. That was a crappy injury. But the Giants remind me of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with way less talent. They're so unorganized. They're so undisciplined. They took stupid penalties. They're taking timeouts. They don't know the clock's expiring. This team's so out of sorts. How did the Chiefs not win this game by 35? Like, that's my question. I get the Chiefs aren't that good. But, like, the Chiefs from last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they beat the Giants in this game by 30. The Giants were awful in this game. Like, the Giants have talent, but they just play so dumb. Joe Judge, I mean, I thought I liked Joe Judge. Maybe it's the Patriots bias. He's been brutal. Brutal. The only coach that's worse is Jason Garrett. Mahomes looked bad again. I mean, Mahomes was hesitant. He was running around. He should have thrown 4 picks. 4. How many times he throw it in the defender's hands or like run around in the pocket and eventually get sacked? He got strip sacked in the red zone. I mean, dude, what are you doing? Get rid of the ball. Man, like, I don't know what's up with Mahomes. You know what's up with Mahomes? This is what's up with Mahomes. I'm going to tell you right now. This is what's up with Mahomes. Right here. This is what's up with Mahomes. You see it? This is absolutely what's up with Mahomes. These two people right here. I come on here every week. These two clowns are what's up with Mahomes. You got the wife, you got the brother. I mean, no wonder. Did anyone see that TikTok video this week? How can a guy focus? The guy couldn't even go to a restaurant and eat a meal without these two making a TikTok. So, no wonder the guy sucks. I mean, I'd suck too. I got to carry this terrible defense. Andy Reid, understandably, is still shook because his son, I think that's a real thing. I'm not even joking about that. His brother is a disaster. His wife is yelling drunk on her phone. Why is she recording this? Why do I don't need this in my life. Like, get off my social media. I don't need it. So, this is what's wrong. How can you carry a defense? Kelsey's toast. You only got Tyreek, and half the time he drops the ball. The offensive line is come and go. I mean, how? You gotta pull an Aaron Rodgers at this point. That's the only thing you can do. The only thing that can save Patrick Mahomes is cutting these people off. You just gotta go. You gotta go. Dark Knight rises. You gotta break your back. Bane's gotta break his back. He's gotta go and come back. That's what's gotta happen right now. That's the only thing that can save him. Yes, Tua greater than Mahomes, Thomas. Definitely. All right. What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining me. That was your Monday Night Football reaction. I mean, guys, I'm not even joking around. I know I do a lot of joking around on this show. That was horrendous football. You know, I think the Chiefs, sure, they won the game. Good for... Congratulations. You looked awful, okay? You looked awful. So, now we're going to get to the most controversial top 10 in the history of top 10s. The Ultra 10, where Ultra gives us his 10 best football teams. Never correct, always wrong. So, let's see what it looks like this week. We got the Ultra 10. At number 10, the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders. At least we show some respect to the Raiders. You gotta love the greatness of the Raiders. The OG Lenny B is in the chat. Shout out to the Raiders and the Niners. What up? Lenny is the man. I love Lenny. I'm gonna show his intro just in a little bit. Me and Lenny, we always go at it with Durkant and Ultra in the chat. Well, that's when Ultra isn't talking about his girlfriend, but that's like only like 2% of the time. The Saints at number 9. The Saints, okay, they got a big win versus the Bucks, but we're going to talk about that later on. I have a theory about the Saints. I don't think they're a top 10 team. They are a possible playoff team, but there's more than 10 teams that make the playoffs. I think there's teams outside the top 10 that are better than the Saints. I think the Saints' record suggests they might be in the top 10, so I'm going to let that slide. I'll let that slide, okay? At number 8, the Ravens. This feels low. The Ravens feel low to me. I think they should be higher than number 8. I think they should be in the top 6. To me, here's the problem with Ultra's rankings. Once again, Ultra is being biased towards the Titans. Bro, I don't know if you saw Ultra, but Derrick Henry is out for the year. The Titans without Derrick Henry are not number 6. You gotta adjust. I know it hurts your feelings. Julio, you want him to go to the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, man. They're not number 6. So swap Ravens, Titans. Bills should be higher. Bills are in the top 5 to me. They're the best team in the AFC. So if you're the best team in the AFC, if you're the best team in one of these conferences, I think you should be in the top 5. To me, it's their AFC to lose at the moment. At number 5, Cardinals. Okay, that's fine. They lost one game now to the Packers. I've never been high on the Cardinals, as you guys know. So when they lost, I wasn't too surprised, even though Devontae Adams was out. But 5 is fair enough. You know, good record, good team. They've had some impressive wins. At number 4, the Bucks. You guys know the Bucks. I think we're going to look at my power rankings tomorrow. You'll see where I have the Bucks. I think the top 4 is correct. I think the top 4 teams you have here are correct. I think you could argue the Bills in the top 5, but other than that, I think the top 4 teams are correct. The tough thing with the Packers is they're not 100%. They won that game versus the Cardinals not at 100%. They've been less at 100% for most of the year. So I'd really like to see what they look at, 90%, because the Bucks aren't at nowhere near 100%. The Rams are the only team on this list that's really close to 100% in that top 5. Right? Cardinals lost J.J. Watt. Cowboys have been a little bit beat up, not as significant as the Packers or Bucks, but beat up nonetheless. The Cowboys had a really nice win versus the Vikings, although we're going to talk about the Vikings. They are a downright disaster. I prayed for them in week 2. And I don't think God heard me. So I might have to redo that prayer. I might have to do it once again. I don't think it had enough power, enough oomph behind it. So we're going to have to pray for the Vikings again. But at number 1, the Cowboys, I don't think they're number 1. But I do think they're top 3. There's still something about the Cowboys that says they're going to have this year again, like 14, 16, where they go to the divisional round, they get hyped up, and then they lose. There's something in the back of my mind that suggests that's going to happen, but hey, the Cowboys have been very impressive. I'm not going to hate on it. I do think I would have a different order, but That is the Ultra 10. You'll see that on Instagram tomorrow. Go check it out and follow us on Instagram at TheBottomLineView. Okay, that's the Ultra 10. Let me know in the comments what you guys have as your top 10. All right. We had some big news. A trade happened today. And this one was kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. This one was kind of cool. So Von Miller, the great Von Miller, the Hall of Famer, to me, the best edge player of the last decade, traded to the Los Angeles Rams, has spent his entire career in Denver, won a Super Bowl in 2015, has actually surprisingly never won a Defensive Player of the Year award, although he was maybe the MVP of the entire NFL when you include the playoff run in 2015. That MVP award, of course, went to Cam Newton. So Miller goes to the Rams for a second and a third round pick in 2022. So that's this upcoming draft. I know it's weird to say 2022 and then think of this year, but that's actually the case. So a second and a third. I saw some people on Twitter saying this was a ripoff. Bro, that's a great trade for the Broncos. I mean, I think that's a great trade. I understand Von Miller is still good and still a very good player. But look, the Broncos are going nowhere. Let's understand this. The Broncos, yes, they're 4-4. They are the biggest joke of a 4-4 I've ever seen. I mean, they're terrible. They've got no quarterback. They should have lost to Washington. Their offense is a disaster. I don't know which offense is worse, the Broncos or the Steelers. I mean, it's a close race. The Von Miller, it's tough to see him leave Denver, but he's always been one of my favorite defensive players. And typically, my favorite defensive players are the ones that perform versus my favorite team. I don't know how that works, but that's just the way it is. So, Von Miller's not that dominant player we saw a few years ago, but he's still very good. He is still very good. And I think he will be elevated by the attention that Aaron Donald gets. Aaron Donald gets a double team. Sometimes he's even triple teamed, on plays. By the smart teams, at least. Some teams still block him with the tight end. I've seen that happen. But Von Miller will now get one guy, just the tackle, just the right tackle, just the left tackle. Whatever side they line him up on. Leonard Floyd on the other side, who's a good player. But now they can kind of use Leonard Floyd in that gadget way that they always use him in. But Floyd is kind of that guy where he's equally a linebacker and an edge player. And he's kind of that well-rounded, drop back in coverage, defend the run, blitz, just a really good athlete kind of guy. Von Miller is just going to be get to the quarterback. Get to the quarterback and set the edge. And that's it. And Von Miller with only one guy blocking him instead of two, especially because there's no Bradley Chubb on the other side for a majority this year, is going to be pretty darn good. And his stats might say that as well. Especially in these games where, look, I know you guys think the Cardinals are some team. But, bro, the Rams are building to beat the Bucks and the Packers. They want to beat Brady and Rodgers. Period. Okay? You throw the Cowboys in that mix because it's similar here. You got to get to the quarterback to win the NFC. If you don't get to Brady, you lose. If you don't get to Rodgers, you lose. If you don't get to Dak, you lose. So, you get Von Miller. They're all in. They sent all the chips into the middle of the table. And they said, this is our Super Bowl. It's at home. We're pulling a Bucks. All in. Now, unlike the Bucks, they had to spend a bunch of draft picks to do it, which is very risky for your future. But if they can win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, hopefully they can retain Von Miller. I'm not sure the contract status there but I'm pretty sure he's a free agent. So if he comes back, if they could get him for 2 years, I think it would be a bad trade if they only had him for this year and then he left. Unless they win the Super Bowl, right? It's all about winning the Super Bowl. Too many people look at draft picks and say, like, it's a guaranteed second round pick, it's going to hit. A guaranteed third round pick, it's going to hit. You're going to get studs. You know, ask Thomas. He's a Dolphins fan. He knows. Von Miller is going to make an impact in the run game and the pass game. Here's the thing I also like. So the Rams are a team that typically don't put a lot of people in the box. Okay? So what that does is you need studs up front. You need guys that win blocks. So when they force teams to run the way they do, it's a run funnel. That's what it's called, right? It's like the Chargers. It's the same scheme, it's just different coach. Raheem Morris now, no Brandon Staley. So they say, okay, when you see this look, 2 safeties deep, we're playing off coverage, we're playing, pass first. You can run it. And basically their hope is Aaron Donald's so good, boom, shed the block, get there, get the 3-yard gain. Keep it to a 3-yard gain, tackle him. Keep it to a 4-yard gain, tackle him. Right? As long as they're not giving up 7, 8, 6, 10 yards per carry, they'll live with that. Because in the NFL today, you kind of got to pick your poison. And Von Miller has always been not just a great pass rusher, but also a great run defender. My question is, how much is he utilized in this defense? Is he utilized every down, or is he utilized sparingly, just in pass situations, or every 2 out of 3 plays, or in some sort of rotation? Maybe in the playoffs he plays more full-time. Maybe they save him until then, sort of. They kind of play him sparingly. But he's ranked 6th among edge players according to PFF this year. That's their grading system. 6th overall among edge defenders. 28 pressures in 7 games, which ranks 15th in the NFL this year. 4 hits, 5 sacks, a 86.3 pass rush grade. So from what I've seen, he's still got it. PFF suggests he's still got it. So he's only going to add another dominant pass rush force to a already good, solid, I would say it was a pretty good pass rush before. Now it's a very good pass rush. I think it was maybe slightly overrated because it was mostly Aaron Donald with a little bit of Leonard Floyd. Now it's Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Leonard Floyd. So Sebastian Joseph Day is a big run defender type guy. He's not really a pass rusher. So great trade for the Rams to try to get to their Super Bowl. The question is, will they win it? If they win it, it's worth it. If they don't, probably not, right? Then for the Broncos, great trade because they get 2 assets for a team right now that sucks. They're not going anywhere. They need young players. Get them in there to the system. Von Miller is probably going to leave eventually because he wants to go win games. So, good trade for both sides. Fair trade. Honestly, more than I thought would get it done. I thought maybe a little bit less would get this done. But that just speaks to Denver still valued this guy and they weren't going to give him up for just nothing. So that's my thoughts on the Von Miller move. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Derrick Henry. This was crushing this morning. And I was like kind of shocked. I was like, what? Derrick Henry got... because... guys, I was doing the live stream for the Titans and the Colts, and I saw him get hurt. He came back to the game, and he kept playing. So I kind of thought it was very minor. I kind of thought, like, it's no big deal. You got to wonder in that situation, did he get more hurt? Like, did he hurt himself more staying into the game than leaving when he got hurt initially? He left for a little bit of time, but he came back, right? And there's 2 perspectives I want to take on this because obviously fantasy football is a big deal. So I want to look at it from that lens as well. But from a league perspective, personally to me, this takes the Titans out of the Super Bowl conversation. Like, guys, Derrick Henry, I understand he's a running back, and I rip running backs for their value, and running backs aren't that valuable compared to other positions. But if there is a running back that is valuable, it's Derrick Henry. And maybe only Derrick Henry. There might be 1 or 2 other guys. I think Alvin Kamara is pretty valuable. I think Christian McCaffrey is pretty valuable. Everybody else is kind of like, I'm not sure. So Derrick Henry is the identity of his team, and that's why he is so valuable. Because he is the way they play. The reason the Titans play the way they play is because of Derrick Henry. Period. End of story. Derrick Henry was on pace to lead NFL, not just the NFL history in carries. That's not going to happen. No more. You got to wonder if that also had an impact on this injury. The usage that this guy was getting, it was eventually going to come back and bite him. The Titans I'm speaking of. Derrick Henry's going to go out there. He's going to play. He's a football player. As many times as you want him to carry the ball, he's going to carry the ball. But should the Titans have been smarter? Here's the thing that I seriously question about this. Okay? Because you got to think about it. Derrick Henry has been the engine to the Titans' late season success over the last 2 years. Right? Derrick Henry probably, at this rate, if he was going to get the most carries of all time, he probably wouldn't have been the same running back in January at this rate. If he didn't get hurt or if he got hurt, regardless. If he was healthy, I'm talking fully 100% healthy in January. Based on his usage over the last 3 years, based on his usage this year, would he have even been like the same player that you want in the playoffs? That your goal is to win? So I seriously question the Titans' usage of Derrick Henry, because I think that is highly questionable. Should they have maybe taken less off his plate during the regular season? Especially versus teams that they probably thought they would beat. That's my question. From a fantasy perspective, it's a huge loss. It's probably going to take, unless they got a stacked running back core or they got a stacked team, it's probably going to take that team out the running who had him. Because Derrick Henry has been a carry the team, fantasy team type guy. I don't think people realize some of the weeks he has and his consistency in your lineup is the reason that team is so good. So with him out of there, it's probably going to take that guy out the running for your fantasy championship. It's obvious, but it's true. So that's my perspective on things. I think Derrick Henry might be one of the most irreplaceable players in the NFL because he is the Tennessee Titans. When you think of the Tennessee Titans, you think of Derrick Henry. Because it's not necessarily going to show in the stats, but teams have to play Derrick Henry different. That's why he's the best running back to me in the league. Because you're going to see him 25 to 30 times a game. He's going to smash your face 25 times a game. But he also has the combination of being a breakout big play runner. So he's also efficient on top of being a force. And in a league that's a little bit softer than it was, it's not a physical league. A guy like Derrick Henry gives you an inherent edge. Watch. Without Derrick Henry, the Titans won't be as physical of a team. It's just going to be inherently there. A big reason the Titans were so good when the weather got cold is because of Derrick Henry. Because he's just an elite specimen. This guy is different. He's a Hall of Famer. Without him, this team will take a different mentality. They'll have to be more finesse. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So, I take the Titans off my list of contenders, and I'll take the owner in your fantasy league that doesn't have Derrick Henry off the list of fantasy champions. That's what I'll do. Okay, I have a little segment here. What's going on, Lori? A-Rod, Dylan, Chris, Brokey, Dave. What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for joining me here. Late night on the East Coast. Appreciate you always joining me. I got a little segment here. Stop overreacting. Can we go 1 week? Please, 1 week in the NFL without completely overreacting to everything that happens. I swear. I can't deal with it anymore, Sports Today. I can't deal with it. I'm done, man. I'm done. Please stop. Every single week, it's like one team wins. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but teams lose. Teams win. You can't judge every single week based on every single game. You can't. There are seasons where, guys, the Super Bowl champ lost to a terrible team. I almost guarantee you this. The team that won the Super Bowl every single season lost to a team that was worse than them. Stop overreacting. We got Derrick overreacting. Ultra every week on his Ultra 10. God. Overreacting. Water. Stay water. Don't get too high. This is what my dad said all the time. He's probably listening right now. My dad, when he would coach us, don't get too high, don't get too low. That means your emotions, man. You can't get too high, you can't get too low. You gotta stay in the middle. That's where you want to be. If you want to predict the NFL, that's where you gotta be. In the middle. You can't take too much from week 10. You can't take too much from week 6. You gotta stay in the middle. I've got to say this because I see it so often. Every single week, we get these outlandish takes. And I'm done with it. Please adjust yourselves. All right, the Green Bay Packers. Thursday Night Football. I hope you guys tuned into the stream. Cardinals, Packers, Rodgers, Kyler. Very good game. Lived up to the hype on Thursday Night Football, in my personal opinion. Had my boy Dilly Vanilli on there for it. Was very fun. How did the Packers do it? You know, they didn't have Devontae Adams. They didn't have Alexander. They didn't have Zadarius Smith. They didn't have Bakhtiari. Of course, the Cardinals lost J.J. Watt. D-Hop was dealing with some injuries. You know why the Packers did it? Not because of Aaron Rodgers. Guys, why did I have to read so much Aaron Rodgers? This is another case of overreacting. Thursday night and Friday morning, all I saw were comparisons between Rodgers and Brady. I don't know how many times I gotta say this. Can we stop these comparisons? There is a guy that is here. There is a guy that is there. I don't want to hear it no more, okay? It's nothing to do with Rodgers. He's great. Can we stop the comparisons? The reason the Packers won, there's a couple reasons. Some of it's because of the Packers. Some of it's because of the Cardinals. The Cardinals are the same team they were last year. They're just a better version. So how do you stop the Cardinals? The Packers had a great game plan. They contained Kyler Murray. They didn't let him get outside the pocket. They didn't let him have these scramble drill plays. They didn't let him go all road runner and throw the ball sideways 80 yards and say, F it, D-Hop's down there somewhere. They contain the pocket. If you want to lose, guys, if you listen to me right now. Listen to me right now. If you want to lose to the Cardinals, just don't contain the pocket. That's all you got to do. Just let Kyler Murray run around, have free will, do whatever he wants. If you want to beat the Cardinals, you got to contain the edges. You can't let him outside the pocket. You got to keep that little man in between the tackles. That's what you got to do. That's rule number one. Harder than it is to say, but it's the truth. Secondly, you got to do a good job on D-Hop. Whether that's put your best guy on him, whether that's double team him every damn play. Those two things is what you got to do, and that's been the case for the last 2 years. And every good team that's faced the Cardinals that have done those two things has been the case. I don't care if you got AJ Green, who, by the way, guys, I don't know what happened on the last play. If anybody can explain what happened. I mean, Kyler threw it at him. He wasn't looking. I don't know if AJ Green thought it was a run. I don't know why he would think that. But, my God, that was bad. Regardless, though, I thought the Packers completely outplayed the Cardinals. Like, I didn't think the Cardinals... People were saying, the Cardinals this, the Cardinals that at the end of the game. Bro, the Packers completely outplayed them. They outpossessed them. They outcoached them. I thought they got more pressure on the quarterback. They ran the ball. Dillon and Jones. I thought all of this. This was a Matt LaFleur masterclass. That's what I'm getting to. Stop the Rodgers Brady. Rodgers had like 5 yards per attempt. Matt LaFleur was great in this game. Matt LaFleur's record without Davante Adams is 7-0. Why? Because every time he doesn't have Davante Adams, he goes back to the drawing board and he says, okay, what do we have to do offensively to win here? We're not going to have these cheap back shoulders. We're not going to have one guy open on every play because Davante just wins every single route. We're going to have to throw some screens out there. We're going to have to get creative with motion. We're going to have to run the ball. I think Matt LaFleur always prepares his team better without Adams than with Adams. I think Matt LaFleur does a better job coaching his team without Adams because he actually ups his creativity every single time. And Rodgers, on top of that, also plays more within the offense and more within the structure. You don't see nearly as many big plays, but he plays smarter, right? And he just kind of, he doesn't go Mahomes. He doesn't just avoid the first read to throw it to Adams. He just takes what's there and plays quarterback. Dillon and Jones took over. Matt LaFleur, 33-7 record through 40 games is the best of any coach in the Super Bowl era. That has a lot to do with Aaron Rodgers, but I think Matt LaFleur shows his value when Adams is not in the lineup, is what I'm trying to get to here. When Davante Adams isn't in the lineup, when they're a little bit undermanned offensively, Matt LaFleur ups his coaching game. I think where Matt LaFleur really impresses me, he always impresses me in the red zone. He always impresses me with the run game. And then, of course, he has Aaron Rodgers, which helps. But I think that's where he shows his value, right? It helps to have a great quarterback. Every great coach needs a great quarterback. But when you don't have that elite weapon out there and you're still manufacturing offense, that speaks to how good the coach is. And that's what I think Matt LaFleur's value is. And that's why I think he's 33-7. Because he's good at manufacturing offense when his guys aren't there. And that's all I have to say about that. Next. Bro, this team is unbelievable. Guys. Oh, man. How do I even begin with this team? How do I even begin? The Vikings are literally insane. The Vikings are ill. The Minnesota Vikings do the same thing every year and expect different results. The Minnesota Vikings have rolled out the worst offensive line over the past decade. Year after year after year after fucking year. That's what the Vikings do. It's a year of football. It's a bad Vikings offensive line. It's a year of football. It's Mike Zimmer commanding the offensive coordinator to keep the game close. You know what makes me mad? When a team that's clearly superior playing down to their opponent. Why do the Minnesota Vikings feel as if they have to play down to the Cowboys? Like, why, Mike Zimmer, are you trying to win the game by one score? Okay. Kirk Cousins, you don't know, the play calling is unbelievable. They don't allow Kirk Cousins to throw the ball past 10 yards until the second half. Literally, look at the numbers. If I see another PA boot on second down, I might break my TV. Like, the Vikings offense has to be the most predictable piece of shit I've ever seen. It's a stretch on first. It's inside zone. And then you second down. Oh, it's the good old boot. You got the boot. And then boom. The Cowboys were all over it. I swear to God. The Cowboys knew the Vikings plays. Parsons in the backfield. Gregory in the backfield. Bro, you got like 3 plays. And then the Vikings fans, this is what's unbelievable about Vikings fans. They can't figure out why the team is so unlucky. You know why the Vikings are unlucky? Because they invite it. Because they invite it. What do I mean by that? The Vikings played down to the Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't have Dak. They had Carson Wentz Jr. The Vikings are running the ball. Keep the game close. Don't throw any downfield passes. Punt the ball on 4th down. Mike Zimmer, you make me ill. You allow these bad teams to hang around, and then you ask, why are you unlucky? Because you don't try to win the game. You try to not lose the game. Zimmer, you wonder why you're always 8-8? Because you don't try to lose. You never try to win. How does Justin Jefferson in any football game have 4 targets? 4! I mean, we gotta pray for this team. Pray for this franchise. Bro, Mike Zimmer thinks Kirk Cousins is Tom Brady. He's like, don't worry about it. We're gonna be in the game at the end. Doesn't matter who we play. I swear, the Vikings would beat a high school team by 3 because Mike Zimmer would want to play it close. They could probably play air and win by 1. Bro, you can't try to win the game in the fourth quarter every single game. It's the exact same flu that the Seahawks have. The Seahawks every single game are like Russell Wilson. It's 14-10 now because we've ran the ball 40 times on first down. Can you win us the game with 2 minutes left? And then when that quarterback doesn't do it, who gets blamed? The quarterback. Bro, Kirk Cousins is playing great football this year. I'm not even going to blame Kirk Cousins. The offense is vanilla. They do 3 plays. They don't aggressively attack early in the game on early down. They don't try to win. They don't try to lose every game. It's unbelievable. So, with that being said, Vikings fans, why are you unlucky? Because you want to win the game every game by 3. And when your kicker misses, you say, oh, I don't know. So, on that note, let's all pray. Everybody, let's pray for the Vikings. God, we have uncovered an illness. The illness resides in Minnesota. And his name is Mike Zimmer. He is absolutely infatuated with winning by 1 score. No matter how many times his offensive line pukes on themselves, no matter how many times his kicker misses the game-winning kick, no matter how many times Kirk Cousins checks the ball down to his running back with 35 seconds left, Mike Zimmer refuses to win a game by more than 1 score. So God, can you please help the Minnesota Vikings and their fans realize that in the NFL in 2021, you cannot play to not lose. You have to play to win. And to play to win means be aggressive. Go for it once in a while. Pass the ball on early downs once in a while. Heck, maybe even pass it to the best receiver in the league. God, please save the Vikings. I went to you once before. I think you might have helped a little bit, but you didn't help enough. All I'm asking is, please save the Vikings. They lost to a man named Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush. That is a real human being's name. Cooper Rush. Please Get them an offensive line that can actually block. Amen. All right. Now that that's done, let's get to the next one. Oh, speaking about Carson Wentz. Oh, this is my favorite part. My favorite part of the day. Carson Wentz. Okay. Let's share my screen. I've got something very, very important for you people to see. I will be breaking down, everybody, the greatest play. Guys, this is the greatest play in NFL history. Let's break it down. Here we go. All right. Thank you to PFF for the source. Let's break down this greatness right here. Hold on a second. I need you to see me. Hold on a second. This is not right. I need you to see me. All right. Here we go. The greatest play in NFL history. On 1st and 10. 24-24. 1:33 remaining in the game. The Colts have 2 timeouts. The Titans have 3. The greatest play. We've got 2 receivers to the left. A tight end. And my guy, Michael Pittman, to the right. Let's see how this unfolds.
Early in the season, starting to get warmed up.
Carson Wentz. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on a second. Carson Wentz is setting up a screen. Oh! Nyheim Hines trips! He tripped! Hold on. Nyheim Hines trips! And then what does Carson Wentz do? You know, usually when the screen doesn't develop, usually when your running back, I don't know, trips, you just throw the ball away. You know, you throw it at the ground, you throw it near your nearest receiver, which would be the running back. That's what, you know, usually people do, but that wouldn't be the greatest play of all time. So what does Carson Wentz do on this play to make it the greatest play of all time? This man fake spikes it and then throws it left-handed to the defense. Are you kidding me? This has to be the worst football play in existence. The game is on the line. The game is on the line. You need a drive to win the game. Carson Wentz, fake, guys, I've never seen this in the history of football. Fake spikes it, then throws it left-handed to the defense for a touchdown. Are you serious? Unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable. That is the greatest football play I will see all year. Fake spike. Then he's like, oh, you know what? They're on my right side, so I'll switch hands, bro. And then I'll throw it over the middle. Who's he throwing it to? Where is this ball going? And then intercepted for a touchdown. So, guys, if you want to know why the Colts lost It's because of this jackass. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. You live by the Wentz, you die by the Wentz. Guy is unwatchable. I've said it once, I'll say it again. You know why Carson Wentz is my least favorite quarterback? The man is unwatchable. How can you watch that quarterback and be satisfied with your lives? I mean, my God. That is the worst piece of garbage I have possibly ever witnessed. I felt sick. I was on a live stream. I wanted to puke. You know what also made me want to puke? The freaking Cincinnati Bengals. What the fuck are you doing, Cincinnati? Bro, I have to renounce my statement. I don't like doing this at all, any shape or form. Bengals, why do you make me do this? I've got to rename you now. I said the Bengals are no more. The Bengals are back. The Bengals are back. They lost to the Jets. Guys, the Jets lost to New England by like 1,000 points. Guys, the Bengals, what are you doing? How do you lose to the Jets? How can I believe in you? How do you let me believe in you and then lose to the Jets, man? Are you kidding? You lost to Mike White. Mike White. Are you kidding me? This is what's not overreacting, all right? The Bengals are not ready for prime time. The Bengals are too immature. Period. You cannot lose to the Jets. If you want me to believe in you, you cannot lose to the Jets. I don't care who you are, what you're doing. You can't lose to the Jets. That is the absolute worst crime against humanity that you could possibly achieve. You can't. If you do, you're off the list. You're done. You're immature. You're not ready for the high game. You're not ready for the big time. And I gotta strip you of your Bengals name. The Cincinnati Bengals have returned. Speaking of the AFC, see you, my guy Trey Vids. Have a good night. What do I make of the AFC? What's the order? Who are the best teams? Who are the worst teams? I'm not going to go over the worst teams, but I have 11 teams here who are still technically in the race for the playoffs. So I'm going to go over not necessarily my rankings, but kind of my thoughts on do I see these teams as contenders? What type of team do I believe they are? Will they make the playoffs? That sort of thing. So, the AFC. The top 11 teams that I think are still in it. At number 11, the Browns. The Browns. You guys know how I feel. Very disappointed in the Brownies. But the Brownies have nothing going for them. Baker playing hurt, playing bad. The O-line, Jack Conklin got hurt. The defense, not living up to expectations. The receiving core can't get the ball because Baker's hurt. The Browns are done. They're finished. They're finito. I don't want to hear about them. They have... Guys, if I'm putting my confidence out of 10, now this is how I'm going to do it. 10, you got a chance to win the Super Bowl. 1, you're one of the worst teams. 5, you're smack dab average. The Browns are no chance for the playoffs. None. They're done. They're better than average, but just slight. No, I don't even know if they're better than average. I'm going to revoke that. The Browns stink. Right above them is the Steelers. The Steelers somehow, some way, have a 4-3 record. I don't know how, but the Steelers are bad. The Steelers couldn't score 20 points on Alabama. Like, I don't know. The Steelers can't score. Like, I get, you got a good defense. Okay, cool. You got some flashy wide receivers. You got an old man, needs to go to a retirement home quarterback. Mike Tomlin seems like a good guy. The Steelers, bro, they blow. They're done. So get them out of there. They got no chance. I understand. Okay, guys, why do they got no chance? If you want to know, just check their schedule, okay? Check the Steelers' schedule and tell me they're going to make the playoffs. They've got no chance. Check the Steelers' schedule right now. The Browns are done. They're so disjointed. Goober. They're so disjointed. They're done. The Steelers, okay, they got the Bears and the Lions. Knowing the Steelers, they'll probably lose one of those games. But let's just go through the rest of the schedule. So let's say they win both those games. All right? Let's say they're 6-3. They've got the Chargers in LA. They got the Bengals in Cincy. They got the Ravens at home. The Vikings in Minnesota. God will be on their side. The Titans come to Pittsburgh. Then they got the Chiefs in Kansas City. Then they got the Browns again. And then they got the Ravens in Baltimore. Are they going to win a single one of those games? Now, maybe they win 2. So let's knock that up to 8. Bro, you're not making the playoffs at 8 and 9. Guys, the Steelers have been lucky. They beat Geno Smith. They beat Teddy Bridgewater. They beat Baker one-arm Mayfield. I mean, bro, what do you want me to say? Steelers are done. Who's next? Okay? So you got the Colts. The Colts are screwed because I think the Colts are kind of good. Like, I think the Colts are better than their record suggests. But they got Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is going to lose them a game they shouldn't lose. Like, it's just going to happen. They're already sitting at 5 losses. With Carson Wentz, sure, he might win you a game or 2. He's also going to lose you 2, guaranteed, no matter who you play. You could play the Texans, which I think they do. There's a chance Carson Wentz throws that game to the other team. The Colts are not making it, okay? Colts, I'm done. I like pieces on your team. I think you got a good run game. Your defense is solid. You can stop the run. You've got talented players. I mean, Moore can play. Leonard can play. Pittman can play. But I've got no faith. Absolutely none in Carson Wentz. So I eliminate them. At number 8, the Chiefs. I was going to have faith with the Chiefs. I had a little bit of faith with the Chiefs until I watched them play the Giants. Guys, they looked awful. They looked worse than they did versus the Titans. Guys, I understand they beat the Giants, but it was horrific. I don't know if you guys saw the game. It was really bad. It was sloppy. The Giants were so bad. It was mostly about the Giants. Like, I couldn't believe the fact that the Chiefs beat the Giants by 3, and the Giants were awful. Awful. So they're out. Get rid of the Chiefs. Bro, I'm done with the Chiefs. Look at their schedule. Look at the Chiefs' schedule. Tell me they're going to make the playoffs right now. So the Chiefs are 4-4. Tell me the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. They've got the Packers next week. Good luck. They got the Raiders in Vegas. Then they got the Cowboys. Then they got the Broncos. Then they got the Raiders. Then they got the Chargers in Chargerville. Then they got the Steelers, who we said the Steelers blow anyways. Then they got the Bengals in Cincy. So they play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games versus teams that I would consider to be better than them. The Chiefs, I know you don't want to hear it. I know you don't believe it. The Chiefs are done. Done. Next. The Raiders. The Raiders got a chance. Here's the thing with the Raiders. I don't think they're very good. I think the Raiders are going to be one of those teams that makes the playoffs and they lose in the first game. That's what I think the Raiders are. But there's nothing wrong with that. There's always got to be a team like that every year. And I think making the playoffs for this Raiders team would be an accomplishment. So I will leave it at that. Next. The Chargers. The Chargers, here's the problem with the Chargers. They'll probably make the playoffs, although that's not a certainty. The Chargers can't stop the run. I could play running back and run the ball on the Chargers. So when the Chargers enter January, they will lose. Probably their first game. Unless they play the right matchup for that team. They might win that game. Okay? But just like what happened versus New England, what happened versus Baltimore, the Chargers will lose a playoff game where they get ran on. They simply are not good enough in that area. In fact, they are dreadful. When you are dreadful defending the run, you will lose in the playoffs. So, that being said, Chargers will make the playoffs, in my opinion, but will lose early in the playoffs because they cannot defend the run. The Patriots. We'll get to them later. I believe they've got a good chance of making it. Looking at their schedule, we'll go over their schedule later. It's the main event, and I don't want to spoil too much, but I like how they're playing at the moment. Number 4, the Bengals, aka the Bungles. The Bungles, I want to keep my faith. I think they are talented enough to make it. But if they lose to another team like the Jets, I might be completely off. I might have to jump off the boat. The Ravens will make it. The Titans will make it by default, even though I think they're going to lose some games that they shouldn't without Derrick Henry. And then the Bills will make it for sure. I'm not sure who will be the number 1 seed. I think it will be Buffalo based on their schedule. So I will guess it will be Buffalo. Lock it. Throw the key away. Buffalo will make it. Lock it. Throw the key away. The Ravens will make it. Everybody else has a legitimate chance of missing the playoffs. I do believe that. So that's the way I see the AFC. Next, the NFC. I've got something to say to the NFL right now. Can we just eliminate 2 teams from the NFC? Like, guys, check the NFC standings. There are 5 teams in the NFC that can go to the Super Bowl. There's the Cowboys, the Rams, the Bucks, the Cardinals, and the Packers. Those are the 5 teams. And honestly, I don't think the Cardinals can either. So I'm going to give it 4 teams. Guys, 5 teams, nobody else is relevant. The Vikings, we had to pray for them. So that they're not relevant. The Seahawks, Russell Wilson, maybe he comes back, miracle, but their team isn't good enough, okay? The Saints, yeah, you got your amazing win. Ho ha, he ha. Great for you. Go celebrate. Have some fireworks outside. Whatever you want to do. Whatever gets you off, okay? Saints aren't winning shit. Then you got the next team. Who else you got? Niners, they don't got a quarterback. So you eliminate them. Who else you got? The Panthers? Oh, don't get me started. Don't even get me started. There are 5 teams in the NFC that actually matter. Other than that, I don't want to see the other teams. They don't have to show up. Just eliminate them before the thing even starts. I don't need them. So that is my idea for the NFL. Just have one. Just got 5 teams. Do whatever you got to do with the 5 teams. Might be a little bit tricky to figure out. But eliminate the other ones. I don't need them anymore. Now, I am going to make a statement here. Because the NFL has this 7-team rule, even though 5 are only deserving, there's a 7-team rule. So with that 7-team rule, I've got a prediction. The San Francisco 49ers will make the playoffs. That is my prediction. Not as a top 5 team, as the 7 seed in the NFC, it will be the 49ers. That's my prediction. Let's go over the 49ers schedule. The 49ers beat the Bears this week. I think it was 33-22. They've few things here. Stop hating on Kyle Shanahan. He's coming for revenge. Number 2, George Kittle's coming back. Number 3, Ayuk is getting it going. Number 4, they found their running back. His name is Elijah Mitchell. Number 5, Debo is a stud. Debo Samuel has the most receiving yards in 49ers history through the first 7 games of a season. That was pretty good, considering Jerry Rice and T.O. played for that franchise. The 49ers will make it. Why? Let's check their schedule. Okay. So here you got it. Let's make me a bit smaller here. There we go. So, they beat the Lions, the Eagles, they lost to the Packers, Seahawks, Cardinals, Colts, they beat the Bears. Okay. Week 9. They got a matchup with the Cardinals. They lost to the Cardinals earlier. I think it was 17-10 with Trey Lance at quarterback. Whether Kyler plays or not, I think they've got a chance to win the game. My guess is Kyler probably won't play. Okay? I think the Niners are going to win that game. They're going to split with the Cardinals. They're going to split with the Rams this year. They've dominated the Rams series. They swept them last year even though they sucked. Okay? So I got them splitting with the Rams. They're going to beat Jacksonville. Urban Meyer is dreadful. We've been praying for the Vikings. The Vikings stand no chance. Nick Bosa is going to be in the backfield every single play of the entire game. Then you've got the Seahawks in Seattle. That will be tough. That will be tough. That could be a loss, a back and forth, either way type of game. Usually those Seahawks games are Cincinnati, same thing, either way type of game. They're going to beat Atlanta. Then they play the Titans without Derrick Henry. That will be close. They got the Texans. They'll beat the Texans. Then they got the Rams. So let's just go over it. So the Cardinals Here's the problem too. And the reason I look at this, the Niners will make it in part because I think they're going to turn it on down the stretch here, figuring out the offensive identity and having a solid enough defense. But also coupled with that is a very weak NFC wildcard race. The Panthers are very bad. The Vikings schedule is very difficult. Like, extreme, guys, just look at it. It's very difficult. So if we're thinking the Saints will be the 6th team, right? And they might not even be because Jameis is now hurt. So I'm not sure how that will affect them. But let's just assume the Saints are the 6th team. The Seahawks are like working in a very difficult position. I think they're 3-5, right? 3-5? Could be wrong there. So, and the Seahawks have a really tough schedule too. So, like, none of these teams have a favorable schedule, but I think the Niners is the best out of all of them. So, I'm going to predict that the San Francisco 49ers finish as the 7 seed in the NFC. That's my prediction. Hate on me all you want. Take it or leave it. All right, next. Sean Payton for Coach of the Year. So the Saints fans, congratulations on winning your Super Bowl on Sunday. You partied. Jameis danced with his crutches, whatever he was doing there. Sean Payton cried after the game. All of New Orleans celebrated. The Saints, there is no reason they should be at the record they're at. They've got a talented defense. They've got Alvin Kamara. They've got a pretty good O-line. But they have so much lacking on the offensive side of the ball. And that is why I think Sean Payton has a legit chance to win the offensive or the Coach of the Year. Because you've got no startable receivers or tight ends on this team. Like, I don't think any receivers or tight ends on the Saints would start on another team. Other than Michael Thomas, who's hurt. So you got one good weapon. Sean Payton beat the Super Bowl champs with Trevor Siemian. That is undeniably great. I gotta applaud Sean Payton. Coach of the Year. What he's doing, the way he has this team playing, this is a great season for Sean Payton. This is, in my opinion, showing what I've been saying for years. Sean Payton did more for Drew Brees than just about any coach has done for a quarterback. Look at how Sean Payton has done with every quarterback he's had. It's a pretty good record. It's pretty unreal. Like, there are no words. Sean Payton continuously outcoaches the Bucs every time they play. Every single time they play. And most of the season, he's outcoached the opposing sideline. His team's not even that good. They've got a good defense. Other than that, what's so great about this team? Not much. I think Sean Payton is the Coach of the Year right now. Team's 5-2. Team's in the playoff race. And if he makes the playoffs with Taysom Hill or Trevor Siemian, just hand him the award. Great job. Great job. Now, there is a coach that I don't think is coach of the year. And that man is Bruce Arians. Oh boy, Bruce. Oh boy. Every time the Saints play the Bucs, the Saints outcoach the Bucs. The Bucs, guys, it is unbelievable the amount of penalties the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have taken over the last 2 years. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl and are the most undisciplined football team in the NFL. Do you know how hard that is to do? That just means, guys, if Bill Belichick coached the Bucs, I don't think they'd lose. Like, what does Bruce Arians actually do for this team? It is a mystery. I need the world's greatest detective, Batman, to figure this out. This should be the sequel to The Batman. It should be The Batman, the mystery of Bruce Arians. What in the blue fuck does Bruce Arians actually do for this football team? The defense is coached by Todd Bowles. The offense is coached by Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady. Tom Brady and Jason Light recruit the players. Tom Brady leads the team. What does Bruce Arians do? He doesn't go for it on fourth down. I don't even think the guy calls the damn timeouts. All Bruce Arians does is piss me off with his stupid facial expressions every time his team takes a penalty. The Bucs take so many stupid penalties, it drives me insane. How do you win the Super Bowl with this coach? Look at this. Look at this, guys. It is unbelievable. You think I'm lying right now? Look at this graphic. I know it's hard to see. Look at it. Tampa Bay has negative 275 net yards and penalties. What? What? How? Look at this. Look at this. Bro, the Bucs have taken the most penalty yards in the league. Look at this. Look at the pre-snap penalties, 23. This is on the coach. Something's wrong. The details are lacking. They don't exist here. It's brutal. It's the classic case of a coach being carried by his talent. Week in, week out. The Bucs, I was so frustrated last year because I thought it was going to cost the Bucs the Super Bowl, but they were so good it didn't matter. This year, if the Bucs don't get back and win, it's going to be because of rather injuries or Bruce Arians. They are literally lower than Bill Belichick in going for it on fourth down now. They're last. How? You have Tom Brady. You don't think Tom Brady wants to go for it on 4th and 4? The guy is carried by the best roster of the past 20 years. They don't have like 18 cornerbacks and they're still winning. Bro, how can your quarterback be the coach? I don't even think this is his offense anymore. I think it's Brady's. Like, what does he do? They had over 100 yards in penalties. Guys, remember week 1 when they beat the Cowboys? Remember my rant? They beat the Cowboys. They were the first team in the history of the NFL to win a game the way they beat the Cowboys. And that's the Cowboys. Ultra had the Cowboys as the best team in the league. The Bucs beat them with over 100 yards in penalties and with 4 turnovers. Bruce Arians, get your head out of your ass. Coach this team. Details, situations. The penalties gotta go. That's on you, dude. Every single year, you've got veteran players on this team. It's not like you got a bunch of rookies. Coach! I'm like, this guy is he's gonna destroy me. I can't watch this team. They should be so good, but every single game, they're just so dumb because the coach. Okay, let's get to something that makes me happy. The main event. The New England Patriots. Zapped. Chargers. They stunned them. The New England Patriots went into LA with droves of fans. With thousands of Patsamaniacs and ran wild all over Los Angeles. The New England Patriots are back. They beat the snot out of the Chargers. Guys, I'm not exaggerating. Don't call me, I swear to God, don't call me biased. I told you the Patriots would beat the Chargers. How many comments did I get in my picks video saying, Mitch, you're biased. Mitch, I love you, but you picked the Patriots too much. Mitch, you're the best NFL YouTuber, but you are so biased when it comes to the Patriots. Mitch, every week you pick the Patriots. Guys, you know why I pick the Patriots? Because when I think they're gonna win, I pick them. You have to understand, when I think a team will win, I pick them. It has nothing to do with me being a fan. And what did they do? Exactly what they do best. They went to LA, the Road Warriors, New England. Beat the Chargers. Why? Why? Because Bill fixed me. The lowest passer rating performances of Justin Herbert's career. Not once, but twice versus the Patriots. 2020, week 13 versus New England, 43.7. And on Sunday, Halloween, Justin Herbert was spooked. 66.7 passer rating. Bill Belichick owns Justin Herbert. I told you. But you know what, guys? I'll let that slide, because you know who else said I was an idiot? Said I was foolish? Was BLV's very own Kevin Durkant on our Patreon only podcast. BLV versus Consensus, where we preview every NFL week. Kevin Durkant predicted the Chargers would not only beat the Patriots, but he said it would be embarrassing. They would smoke the Patriots. Here is that clip.
Mitch is so delusional. Like, he picked them
What's
to
the
beat
bet?
the Cowboys, Dolphins. Like,
Come on.
you're just a delusion. You see, maybe I would bet, but taking free money from you, like, isn't that
Okay.
kind of scummy?
That's such a.
Isn't that kind of being a dick? Like,
Yeah,
just stealing
see
from you?
See what he's doing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Backing out.
I'll just take the win and go home, bro.
Okay.
You don't have to lose money to me.
Just
The
'cause
Chargers-
Justin
Mr.
Herbert
Kant,
can't
what's your
do-
score? Let's get it on air here. What's your score?
All right. Because they have a bunch of average players on their team. Like, that's what they are.
Okay, so what's your score prediction?
Chargers 31-14.
Okay.
Okay.
Got that clipped up?
Yep. The receipts are live on the bottom line. That was a receipt. 31-14, they said. How about 27-24 Patriots? And it wasn't that close. Wasn't that close. New England ran the ball. Damian Harris ran the ball. The Patriots shut down Justin Herbert. They were up 27-17 with 1 minute left, and they let them go score for just courtesy. You know, thanks for playing. The Patriots are back. Their pass rush is legit. Matt Judon is unbelievable off the edge this year. Christian Barmore, steal in the second round. Defense playing out of their minds. Hightower, Collins, Van Noy, Duggar, Adrian Phillips, AP. 2 interceptions, 1 pick six. J.C. Jackson, shout out to Miles Bryant. All of them. Defense played out of their minds. Nelson Aguilar, big play. Hunter Henry in a revenge game. Mac Jones didn't even play his best. And guys, I was prepared to come on here and scream and shout and say, Josh McDaniels, you cost your team the game because of your idiotic play calling. But it didn't even matter. The impressive part about this game for New England was not just that they won, not just that they scratched and clawed and barely beat a good team, which I believe the Chargers are a good team. They convincingly beat them and should have beat them by more on the road. They should have won this game by 17. They went for it on 4th and goal. They threw a fade. What was that? They fumbled in the red zone. They allowed a touchdown at the end that didn't matter. They dominated a good team. And now, you Patriot haters are going to say, Mitch, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't overreact. And you say don't overreact. I'm not overreacting. I'm warning. Patriots are back. Let's look at this schedule. Okay? Let's look at this schedule for New England. Because I think they're going to go on a run. Look at this schedule. Okay? By the way, when you go back and actually think about who they've lost to and think about their season so far, you realize how good this team is. So they're 4-4. Doesn't feel like a very good team. Feel kind of average, right? The first week they lost, Damian Harris fumbled on the 5-yard line of Miami. Unlucky stuff. Rivalry game. First game of the year with a rookie quarterback. You can understand why they lost, but they were the better team in that game. So the loss shows up on the record, but it was clear they were better in that game. Week 2, they beat the Jets, beat them because Zach Wilson gives them the ball 4 times, 5 times, whatever it was. They lose to New Orleans, which was really their lone convincing loss of the year. Although even in that game, they only lost by 1 score. You know, they were losing by 1 score, and then they scored at the end, Saints, to clinch the game. So even in a game that appeared to be convincing in the other fashion, they were still somewhat in it at the end with a chance to tie, but their defense couldn't get the stop. So that was their worst loss of the season. They played Tampa. They lost by 2, and they missed a field goal that would have put them out in front, but they didn't even go for it, which I thought they should have went for it. If they do, they probably win the game. Houston, they win in comeback fashion. Impressive comeback. Not a good first half. You can understand why that happened because they were coming off the Tom Brady game with so much hype, so much heart, so much passion. That was a big letdown opportunity. Then they played Dallas. They lost in overtime to Dallas. So they've lost to 2 of the top 5 teams in the NFL. They lost to another team who's 5-2 and just beat the Bucs. They lost to Miami, which was bad, but they should have beat them. We understand this. Then they smoke the Jets, guys. And everyone after that was saying, that doesn't matter, that it was the Jets. It doesn't matter, it was the Jets. Well, the Jets just beat the Bengals, who everyone was crowning their ass. So I'm going to take stock into beating the Jets by 5,000, okay? Then in week 8, they go to LA. Foxborough is live in LA. They beat the snot out of Herbert once again and win. Look at this schedule. They are better than every team on this list other than the Bills for the rest of the season, in my opinion. They should go to Carolina. They are favored. They should win. They should win. Not saying they will. They should. They play Cleveland at home. Baker has no arm. He can't throw. He scored 10 points. They're in shambles. They're done. They should beat the Browns. They play at Atlanta. Atlanta stinks. Put any pressure on Matt Ryan, he folds up like a tent. Then you got week 12. Tennessee's got no Derrick Henry. That threat is non-existent. Then you got the real stuff, all right? Buffalo at Buffalo, that's Monday night. It's going to be tough. Then you got the bye week. So I'll say they lose to Buffalo that game. Then they go bye week. Then they play in Indy, which Carson Wentz going to hand them that game. Let's be honest. Indy might be just as good as New England, but their quarterback's a dumbass. So they probably beat the Colts. Then they got the Bills. I hope they can split with the Bills. If they split with the Bills, I'll be very happy. They're going to beat Jacksonville and Miami to end the year. So realistically, New England might lose 2 more games for the rest of the year. That would make them, 11-6? If you look at this schedule and think they're any worse than 10-7, I don't know what you're looking at. New England is ascending, which is the scary part. Young quarterback, getting better. Offensive line, getting better. Trent Brown still hasn't come back. Weapons who are new from the offseason, getting better. Defense, getting better. Christian Barmore. Kyle Duggar, young players, getting better. Patriots are real. Pay attention. And that is the bottom line weekly review for week number 8. Hope you guys enjoyed this show. If you did, make sure you do Gronk spike that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more BLV NFL weekly reviews just like this every single Monday after Monday Night Football. Also, Gronk spike the notification bell for the live streams and the latest upload. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's Mitch. Appreciate you all being here live with me. Appreciate all your comments. Thank you guys. As always, we always have some fun on this show. It is meant for entertainment, okay? It is meant for entertainment more than anything else. I hope you guys know that. So if I take shots at any of your teams, just know that I'm most of the time not being 100% serious. So thank you guys for joining. It's Mitch. We will see you soon. And an update on the schedule, I did post it in the community tab. On Wednesday, I'm getting my only wisdom tooth removed, which is right here on my right side. I got to get it removed. So what's happening is for the picks on Wednesday, I won't be live. So I'll be premiering that at the same time that I'm usually live, which is 9 Eastern time. Okay? So 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern on Wednesday is the picks. Tomorrow, you'll have the power rankings video out, which I'll record tomorrow. But love all you guys, love all the people that support me, and appreciate you being here. It's Mitch. Just recognize that I won't be live for the picks. It will be premiered. But you can still join the chat and comment your picks with everybody else. Thanks for watching. Peace.